going on, guys? So during this whole COVID-19 or the China flu or whatever you want to call it, we're all having to quarantine ourselves and kind of stay away, do our social distancing kind of thing, which is fine with me. So what I've been doing, I got a project coming up and I'll show you that here right now. Alright, so here's my drill press. It's an old one, got it from my dad, but as you can tell, this one doesn't have a crank to raise this table up or down. I do have this cross slide, and it's pretty heavy for what it is. So still working good if anybody's wondering. I do have a video on this, but with the table itself, plus the cross slide, plus this vise, plus degree wheel, I forget what you call it. But anyways, plus that, there's a lot of weight that's on this. And to lift this up, you have to, with that knob right there, you have to loosen that up while holding this at the same time and lift it up, and then tighten that down where you want it. Keeping in mind that this is going to swing left and right and all that. Going down is not too bad because well, you have weight. You have the weight, you have gravity helping you out. But going up can be a pain in the butt because it has to be perfectly flat to lift it up. If you cockeye it one way or the other, it's going to bind up and not come. I'll see if I can find a diagram or a picture or something like that. This is going to require a couple of pulleys. So you'll put a pulley back here on the table. It'll come up through here, around through here, and down into this pipe. So like I said, there'll be a pulley there, and inside the pipe is going to be this pipe. We're going to cap this off and weld around it, cap it off, flip it over. I'll probably cut this down a little bit, maybe it'll be maybe 18 inches or so. We'll fill it up with lead to make it extra heavy, and then put another cap on it with an eye bolt. So essentially when the table comes up, the pipe drops down inside this pipe, so it helps lift up the table for you. And again, going down is not a big deal because you have the weight of the table. But anyways, it's just supposed to make it a little bit easier to do. Might do a double pulley where I have the cable fastened up here, come down to here to a pulley here, and then up to another pulley that comes down. And that's going to affect my range on how high or low I can make it. I guess on how high I'll go, or how much height I'll get out of it, because that rope will have to travel twice as fast or twice as far. But we might have enough weight to where we can just do one pulley and be fine with it. Now this pipe right here is just about the right size. Again, I might cut it down, and if that's the case, I'll put it in the lathe and knock off just a hair off of it, because it just barely fits in there now. I don't know if you're able to see this right here, but there is a seam that goes all the way down that kind of makes that where it won't fit in just right. So I'm still waiting for those pulleys to come in. Once the pulleys come in, then I'll be able to finish this this project. But hope I made that clear for you. So basically what I did was I put an ad out on Facebook Marketplace, just needing some wheel weights or some lead. And several people contacted me, said, hey, we got a bunch that you can have. I did tell them that it was for a project. It's not, I'm not trying to sell this, so that might have helped. So basically what I did was I had some of the big 5-gallon buckets. It was mixed. I found it to be about 50-50, maybe 60-40 percent steel weights versus lead. So you're gonna have to go through a bunch of these. So the easiest way to do this was to just get a magnet, and you'll run your magnet over the lead weight. If it doesn't stick, obviously you know that it's lead. Some of these stick-on weights are lead. These metal ones, like here's one that I missed, will stick to a magnet. So you know that's a still weight. You can kind of go through that. But yeah, once I sat down on the couch, I had bins just like this. I had 2 bins. I had a bucket, a steel bin, and a lead bin. And just while I was watching TV, went through them. Get an old towel, maybe some gloves, because it's dirty. But yeah, once you do that, then we'll go ahead and we'll melt this down. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm just putting those down because those will melt pretty quick. Good for now. Now this is just an old turkey baster. It had the timer on there. There are videos to kind of bypass that. That's what I did because this is going to be going for probably more than 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and turn this on. That's basically what you'll do. You'll let that all heat up and the lead will sink down to the bottom. You'll have all these metal clips that will float to the top. Now you can take your time and take all of these out if you want to, but I find, and you might want to skim the top and all that, maybe if you're making lead bullets or something like that. I'm not. I have it for that project, so it doesn't have to be pure for me. But I am making them into ingots. So this is just a cast iron by John Wright. He's got several of these. So as this heats up, it's going to let off some fumes. You are dealing with lead, toxic, or whatever you want to call it, so I do put on a mask. So with this by itself, it will heat up, it will melt all of that down to where you want it. It's getting ready to rain. I don't know if you can tell, it's not very bright out here. It's getting ready to rain, so kind of want to speed this up a little bit. So you can use your little propane torch if you want to, if you got one of those. The other thing that I have is a oxyacetylene tank, or oxyacetylene. That'll melt this really quick. I just have to make sure I don't melt the can that it's in. So I'm gonna put this back on and we'll get going. I'll also heat up the mold. So whenever I pour the lead in there, well, it'll be better if I wanted to keep those for whatever reason. All right. Okay, so again, it's sprinkling. I don't know if you can tell. It is sprinkling a little bit, so I'm in a hurry to do this. Normally I'd just let this sit for 30 minutes or so. Usually not in a big hurry to do this. So putting that water on there, I did do it prematurely, and we kind of had it could have been pretty bad, but fortunately we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can pop these out. I guess since these are lead, you don't have to worry about them rusting or nothing. Paint them if you wanted to. Use a wire wheel on them, brighten them up. This would also work with aluminum, maybe even copper. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, you can put a steel rod in there, paint them, stick them in your garden, keep them inside, something like that. Kind of cool. That chunk right there, let's see, all this right here, could potentially be remelted if you needed more lead. I'm not in dire need of it, so it is what it is. And these are just ketchup tins, or probably like coffee tins or something like that you get from Sam's or whatever. Now whenever you do this, it's going to have a coating inside, and you can use your propane torch to melt out that coating. I've used this one in particular a bunch. I also have this mold here if you ever wanted to use that. The number on there if you need that. But yeah, these do pretty good for little ingots. There you go. You can sand that flat if you want to. Be a nice little paperweight. Just keep in mind this is lead. Don't forget that. If you're doing aluminum, no big deal. So here's some other ones that I did. Then we have this big old butterfly. You can see it's pretty big. It's 30, I think 30 pounds, something like that. It's got a lot of mass to it. All right, guys. Well, y'all comment rate. That's what I'm doing in quarantine. What takes the longest is switching those out between steel and lead. Well, in case you want to know, here is the mold for the butterfly. It's pretty big. Alright guys, y'all stay safe. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching. See ya.